Good evening, everybody. I'm Go Gear, Go Home, and welcome to Rail Talk Live. Tonight, we're going to continue the work on the diesel facility ×3, and we're going to do a bit more work. I'll obviously be working on this for a little while because it's a pretty big kit, but I'll catch up on what I've done so far, and then obviously we'll do some more work along the way. But first, of course, we want to see who got the Timbits this evening, because we don't do cookies here, we do Timbits. That'll be Brian Ferguson. How's it going? And Todd, good morning. Good morning. And I'm bringing my own frickin' Timbits. Well, you were off by one. You were pretty close. Bubs031, how's it going? And M&M Rails, how's it going? John, how's it going? Mr. Dwight Curley, how's it going? And we've got Awesome Possum. And Almar, how's it going, Al? And Anthony, how's it going, Anthony? Really excited to do this kit because, it's probably going to be one of the biggest kits that I've done personally. Big build. And I've got 3 of them. It's the Walthers diesel facility. It's the modern diesel facility. I'll take you over that and I'll show you everything that I've been working on. Hey, Mike. Hey, Nelson. How's it going? It's a really big kit. And not only do I want to build the kits and put them together and make it look like it's one big facility, but my aim is also to detail the inside. I've seen a lot of pictures and whatnot of the inside of this actual facility in Whitby, Ontario. And also Perry sent me a really cool video today. It was like a video walkthrough of the actual facility. And I took little screenshots of certain detail parts. So I'm going to see, there's a lot of piping. There's pipe all over the place in there. Whether it's electrical lines, water lines, power lines, gas lines. They've got a whole bunch of different pipes and whatnot. So I've got my work cut out for me. So it'll definitely be quite the kit. I also found some detail parts already from both Walthers, and I do have some mini prints as well that I'm probably going to be incorporating into this, but I've got way more to do, way more to find. I'm going to have to place a couple of orders and then, kind of work it out. I had seen, like, on the side of the wall, on the side of the building, on the inside, there are, I don't know, they're like big boxes. It almost looks like a big silver box that's in the same shape as the AC unit on the end of some trailers. So I found some AC units, and I'm probably just going to paint it silver, just like the one on the side of the building, and I'm going to attach it to the wall. But more on that later. I'm just kind of scouring the web to find certain detail parts that I can almost incorporate into the building so that I can kind of bring it to life, make it look realistic. Hey, Brian, how's it going? But I'll show you here what I have so far. Let's kind of bring it down to building level here. Okay, so this is only one of the kits. This is one of 3, and so far I have the 2 platforms that are in the middle, and there's a platform on each side. These haven't been attached because they have to get attached to the actual wall itself, but all 4 platforms are lit. They're all wired anyways for lighting. And I'm going to do that with all the platforms, building the building, and it'll light up underneath. Of course, you won't be able to see it looking at the wall here, but it'll look nice when you look inside, basically. Hey, John. Hey, Joe. How's it going? And I did find some parts already. This is a scissor lift from Mini Prints. And when you order one of these, you get to choose which size you want. What did I do with my other ones? They are, I don't know where I put them, but there's like it's, small, medium, large. So there's a low one where it's like that high, then that's the medium, and then the other one is probably like it's full extend. So I glued that together, and I have to paint it and whatnot still, but yeah, I can put it up here. Maybe there's a guy he's going to be working up here. Who knows? There is this kit here, which you can get from Walthers, and you get a whole bunch of these racks. I don't know if you guys remember me building these on one of my lives that I did on a Sunday morning brunch kit build. And then, of course, there's also some crates. These were in one of the last mini of the month things that they do, the mini of the month. And there's some low crates and some tall crates, and they're not painted yet, but you can add different things to the shelf to, make it look realistic. Will I leave this here? Probably not. It does take up a lot of room, so I'd probably try to do something a little bit lower, or I'll put that closer to like the outside wall as opposed to the main middle walkway. And of course, I will definitely want to paint that because I do not like the orange. But again, I just wanted to kind of show you guys some options. If you're doing something like this, you can get some crates from Mini Prints and whatnot. I had one of these that I did on my wood kit, and this one is painted. It's just it's a dolly. I don't know if you can actually see that or not. Yeah, it's really hard to see. Sorry, guys. Whoop. So yeah, there's a little dolly there. I'm probably going to put that somewhere, and then I've got two more, but these ones are not painted yet. These are also Mini Prints as well. And then of course there's a tank here, whether that's a water tank or some hold something else. Maybe there's some gasoline in here. I don't know. But this is supposed to go on a trailer. But I thought, well, maybe I can find a place for that. And then I can add some pipes to it. And then, kind of work off of that. And then just add piping here and there. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But again, you can get something like that from Mini Prints, just some little tanks, which is really cool too. I don't want to knock this over. They're delicate. I really like this. I also have the one that's where the top part is right down. It's on my other kit, but I'm like, well, I think it will look better if I have a guy doing something, and he's at heights or working higher up. But I'll add the guy after. So this here, toolboxes for sure. So again, this is only one of the kits. I'm going to be doing this 3 times over, so there's quite a bit here to do. You can see I've added a lot of these uprights as well, these upright supports. They went in fairly easy. You just put a bit of glue on the end, and then you put it down in, and then there's a little hole in the base plate that holds it in place, and you have it all properly installed if it all lines up and the walkways are not going this way, that way, and all that. Hey, Ronald, how's it going? And John, how's it going? I think we've got like 12 Johns in the chat right now. That's a new record. And of course, all the wiring is going to hook up, and it's going to be underneath the layout, and you won't see it, but yeah, it'll all power with a switch. So for what I want to work on today, there's some handrails that go in here, and honestly, I'm not a huge fan of handrails, and I'm going to tell you why. Because every time I do handrails on a plastic kit, they always break. Always, always, always. The only time I've ever done a kit where the handrails did not break, it was a wood kit. So, but they can't all be wood kits. If they offered this in a wood kit, you know how expensive that would be? Very. That's all I know. It would be very expensive. So I got to kind of do without. Do it in plastic and just try to be extra careful when working on these railings. So now none of my railings are painted, and for good reason. So gotta glue them in place, and it's easier to paint them if they're attached to the walkways. I just gotta figure out which numbers are which, and I want number 8 and 49, or yeah, 8 and 49. Thanks, Ronald. I like to think I'm working hard on it. Number 8 is going to be on that side. So the cool thing about this here is that they give you little pre-sunken holes, and if you get paint in it like I did, I just use a little pointy object like that, and then it just pops right in, but you got to make sure that the ends are clean and everything is good first. And I didn't totally think this through when I put in the poles. I'm like, well, I'll just work around them, which inevitably will be a bad choice, but I'll learn from that, I think, at some point. Okay, so what's one? Nope, doesn't want to go in. Just my luck. Well, there was one that broke at the other end, and because it's not painted, I managed to glue it back together for the most part. And if you don't look directly at it, you would never know. Can you tell that that one's broken? That one there. I guess you can't see because of the poles in the way. Guess not. That's too far. Either way, you'll have to take my word for it. It's hard to tell. Can't tell it's broken. And I think it broke in like 2 or 3 places too. So that was a pain. And this one doesn't even want to go into the hole. So at the risk of getting completely frustrated at that point, I'm going to try a different one. Save the bad one for last. Yeah, I should throw it out. Oh, jeez. All that work. Well, the funny thing is that even like kits that I do like, not that I've messed up on them, but ones that I don't like as much as others, I don't even throw them out. I have a couple that I want to sell, but I never really throw any out. I'm worried that if I do, see how easy that was? That just went in like no problem. They should all do that. Yeah, right. But if you thought I was the only one doing this, only one brave enough to do this kit, you were wrong. Because we also have Crooked River
Hey,
and
guys.
Eastern. How's it going?
It's going all right. Working on this kit.
I hear I hear you've got a kit of your own that you're working on.
I do.
How's
Same
yours
kit.
coming along?
It's coming along. Let me switch cameras. I'll show you. Hi, guys, by the way.
You guys know Dave, right?
There we go. See, Ink Trails, Ronald, Awesome Possum, Elmar, Joe Raider. How's it going, guys? So, yeah, I was trying to get kind of caught up to where you were at last week. I don't know if I'll be able to get this camera.
Looks good. Is it orange? You went with orange.
Yeah, for the railhead or the rail holders or whatever you call them. And yellow for the ramps and safety striping and railings and that.
Now, do you have a building that you're, mocking after? You're gonna.
No, nothing. I mean, it's just going to be a generic CSX engine house.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Painted blue, bluish, I guess, a blue color.
Cool. I've seen many different colors of this, and I get more impressed every time I see it because when you explain it and you're like, well, I'm going to do this in like a bright red,
Yeah.
It sounds weird on paper, but then I've seen people do like really nice ones. So, yeah, it always looks good.
Yeah.
And the orange looks really sharp too. So
I figured, I've seen so many people just kind of do it in like a gray color, a silver color, which looks good too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to light it. I have, let's see. I put LED strips here. I got to hook wires to these, but I already got them underneath these. These were hard to do. These ramps?
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, right?
Up. Boy, I had a mess on my hands. My fingers are covered in super glue. I can't get the camera under there so you can see it. But I have the lights already hooked up there. Underneath, I have wires coming out to hook up to.
So now, did you put the legs on the walkways, or did you put the legs on the base and then put the walkway on top?
I put it on the walkway, and then first I made sure all the holes, the little pin holes that are down on the base, were where they were going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was open enough so it would drop right in.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, the first one I did went really smooth. I don't know, maybe I just didn't wait long enough for the other one's legs to dry enough or whatever. I don't know. I feel like I can't seem to get this into this screen well enough, but this is as good as it's going to get.
Let me see if I can make our things bigger there.
Man, I caught all kinds of grief on that second one. I had glue everywhere, man. I ended up because it wasn't sticking down anyways, because I don't know what I did wrong, but so I ended up cutting all the pins off of the bottoms of those posts.
Yeah.
So they were flat and sanding them flat. And then I re-glued them into the walkway. Let it dry completely. Gave it a couple of hours. I think maybe I tried to go too quick with it, And then I just did the best I could and weighted it down when these were, because it was flat on the bottom then. I don't have any extra posts to show, but on the bottom of these posts here, there's a little pin on the one end, a tiny, like, I don't know.
It's like a little rectangle almost.
Yeah, like a little nipple or something. I don't know what else you would call it. And then in the base, there's a bunch of holes, and then you stick those down in the holes. But it's a bear getting them lined up. In theory, it's great, but then you also have to make sure you get the platform so it's not crooked or leaning one way or the other, or too far one way or the other, because then the ramps won't fit in there right.
Yeah.
The ramps kind of help you line it up side to side this way too. But while I was trying to get everything set up, I heard you talking about the handrails, and I was doing my damnedest to cut those out too. And then you got to try to get the extra little nubs off of those. It's not fun.
Yeah, and they're all different numbers too, which is there's
It
there's
doesn't make
5
sense.
different numbers for one side, so it's
Yeah.
you just got to repeat it.
I just painted these with, I want to say it's called sunflower or something like that. It's a Rust-Oleum paint. It's a little bit more yellow than the yellow I used on the striping on the floor and everything, but I don't know. I don't think it'll look too bad. I could always kind of touch it up with a brighter yellow on here, I guess, but like the ramps are a little darker or a little brighter than this striping.
Looks good though. I like that.
I saw somebody else doing like a reddish. This is Vallejo clear orange. It's called. So it's kind of almost, I don't know, like a red orange maybe.
A reddish orange.
I don't know. It says clear orange. To me, it looks a little bit more red. I don't know. Maybe not. But anyways, that's where I'm at. The yellow I kind of mixed up. I didn't have anything that I liked, so I tried to mix the yellow striping up. I think I have.
You said it's going to go on your second level.
Yeah, that'll be where my CSX yard is.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna probably have to move it in a different spot than what I planned, because I'm gonna have to, based off of the thickness of this. Oops, sorry, bumping the camera. See how thick that base is?
Yeah.
Well, you do. I'm just trying to show it in the camera. That base is, what do you say, a little bit over a half inch. Well, yeah. So I don't use foam, just plywood. I know you and I had this conversation one day. So I'm gonna have to cut the plywood out, I think, and drop it into the, like build the framework or something under it, or like take the plywood off the top, cut it, and mount it underneath, and drop this in.
It's definitely easier if you have the foam. Like the first time I did this, which was like a while ago, like I want to say like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
I had a foam top, so I was able to carve it, like I shaped it with the base, and then I was able to just dig it out, and it would just fit in the hole perfectly. But
Right.
yeah, if you've got the wood base to it, it's a bit more. You gotta do a bit more with it to make it work.
Yeah. I almost wish I would have put these handrails on before I put this ramp on. It will dry fit.
Anthony has a question, guys. I've got a question. I've seen a lot of CP and CN, more than usual here in New Jersey for the last few weeks. A lot of container trains. Anything going on up there? Not that I know.
No, I mean, I know the ports, did they end up coming to an agreement? The ports over here on the East Coast?
Yeah, I think that whole strike is over. I mean, it's probably been over for a while now, but
That's the only thing I could think of. Maybe they're rerouting there, or us rerouting up to you guys. I don't know. I wonder, well, KCS didn't really come out this way that much. I didn't really see that. I'm thinking like CP and KCS,
I only ever see CP out my way. I'd have to travel several hours just to see some CN.
Yeah. I feel like I see CN more than I do CP. But thanks again for the instructions. I did get them in the mail.
No worries. Yeah. No, it's funny because anytime I buy a kit, I save the instructions for just an occasion where somebody's like, hey, getting a hold of Walthers is a pain. Do you have this? And I'd say, yeah, because I've got literally so many of them. So I try to help out where I can, you know.
Yeah, I feel like I have a bunch of instructions too from kits I've built. Like I said, I bought this one kind of off of a guy secondhand. We chatted up and he sent me, photos of all the sprues. And at that time, I was able to find on their website the instructions. And I don't know why. It's probably still there. I just couldn't find it.
It's weird how they do it. Yeah, it's usually at the very bottom, and it's always like a PDF.
Yeah. So, anyways. I'm trying to use up the last bit of this glue. I'm very sad when it's over. The Model Master glue. I got this one's almost empty, and I got about another little bit in another bottle.
Now, besides the lighting below each of your walkways, there, are you adding lighting to the front, like the front doorway?
I do have. Yeah, I'd like to pick these up. I don't know, one of those Chinese sites. And I thought they'd be pretty cool. I can get one of them out of here. Hopefully they're not too big, but kind of a little more on the modern end, I guess. I don't know if you can even pick it up in the camera.
Oh yeah.
With a LED sit on the end of the building instead of the gooseneck looking thing. There's a little bit more of a modern look to it. I thought about putting those above each door, maybe, or above at least the man door. We'll see, because I want to put lights in the top somehow too. Have you figured out? Are you going to do anything like that?
Well, because I'm putting all three of the buildings together, I want to put almost like not necessarily a piece of wood, but something that will cover all three to make it look like one continuous roof. And then I can attach whatever to the underside of it.
Yeah.
But as for over the front part, it'll probably just be one long triangular roof, which is the current roof that sits up there. I'll just have to connect all 6 pieces, so 3 front, 3 back, and I'll make one long roof that'll just span right across the whole top there.
Gotcha. Yeah, God bless you on doing 3 of these things.
Well, I mean, I just figure you do the same thing 3 times and then just,
I mean, yeah, for sure.
It's more like if you can tolerate repetition, then you're okay. But if it's too I don't know if the word is meticulous, where you just hate doing the same thing over and over and over again, then yeah, it would kind of be a bummer to do. But
yeah, that's true.
But like I said, the worst part were those little stands, for the rails. Oh my gosh, never again. I do want to make a correction though, because the other day I was talking about lights for the front, and I had said so there's a red light, a green light, and a yellow light. But Perry corrected me because Perry gave me that information, and he's in the chat here as well. Hey, Perry. It's a blue light, not a yellow light, because the blue light means that there's somebody working on something. So, which I probably still won't add the blue light. I'll probably just do a red and a green. I don't want to take away from the realistic side of it, but at the same time, that's a lot of lights. Got to cut some corners here.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of kid you can get as crazy with that stuff as you would like, you know what I mean? Because like even just lighting up underneath like this, it's super cool to do. Then I thought instead of the strips, I thought maybe I would just do like some smaller, like, I don't know, 402s or something, just little LEDs.
Hmm.
Um, instead of under the walkway, kind of drilling into the sides of, I don't know if you can see down in here, like doing 4 or 5 on each side, down in the
Yeah.
pit, just
Yeah.
having, like the bottom of the pit instead of underneath the racks. But I thought I was about still doing that, but I think this is going to be bright enough that it's going to just wash that out anyways. But you're only going to see so much.
It's true.
I
It's
mean, it
true.
is all like glass technically, but I still think you're only going to see so much of it.
As long as it's represented in one way or another, it
Yeah,
doesn't have to be like over the top. People will still see it and they'll say, "Oh, yeah, lit bays. That's cool."
yeah. And this kit's been done so many times because I didn't have the instructions for one thing at first. I was trying to watch a bunch, and I like to watch videos too, just to see what other guys have done and the struggles maybe that they've had or tricks that they've learned, and like what you're doing here, building it live and giving guys a heads up on, hey, I'm running into this issue, or whatever, or this went smoother than I thought, or you know, it's helpful. And guys have done this kit so many times. I mean, it's like almost overdone.
Yeah, it almost makes you wonder, like, why, because this isn't the only version of, a facility like this. I guess they
Yeah,
kind of leave it up to you to customize it yourself, but at the same time, how old is this tooling? You know?
exactly. And while I like Walthers, I think they do a nice job on their kits. All in all, they really do kind of recycle these kits around a lot.
Yeah.
Like they'll use the same basic building for a bunch of other companies or whatever. And part of me gets that. I mean, it's expensive, and I mean, you can only build a building in so many ways. There's 4 walls and a roof or whatever. And it's just a matter of maybe making a wood house out of this kit, and the next one will have siding, and the next one has brick, or whatever. But it's basically the same kit.
Yeah.
All right, what am I doing with these things? Probably should be looking at those instructions that you sent me.
Some of it's more obvious than other parts.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Curly. Probably should look at the chat just to see if anybody's talking. But it's just you, Curly.
Is he causing trouble already?
My buddy. I don't know. Maybe ask her. Let me scroll back here. Bubs, hello, Floyd. Yeah, I'm not gonna be here too long tonight either. I'm probably gonna drop out by like 9. Curly, who was asking? What color did you paint your corn? It's by Vallejo. The model color is called Buff, Buff. It's a tannish, buff color. But that's the name of it, is Buff. I thought I told you that already. I thought you were doing summer corn.
And of course, I totally broke a handrail.
No.
Yeah.
They were a bear to cut out. I wish I could remember which guy I was watching, but he gave like a tip on how to cut them out without breaking them. I don't remember what that tip was. So I can't even tell you what it was. And I couldn't find the video again, of course, even back in my history. It was a while ago. I just put a fresh plate on and just very gently cut them. But instead of using like my sprue cutters on it, I broke one so far. And I believe I got it to glue back together okay. It doesn't look too bad, anyways.
But this side here is the back of my kit, so I'm not completely pooched. I just gotta make it look believable, and
That's a good point. Put it against, like, away from the viewer.
yeah, like this is the back, so this will be going up against the wall. You probably won't see too much back here, so
Yeah. How did it go with the vertical posts? I painted mine yellow. I don't know. I'm gonna keep it all yellow.
That's probably been the least stressful part of this entire ordeal.
Oh, no joke. Did you already do like your side platforms?
They're
Those go in later, don't they?
they exist. They're here and they're wired and everything, which is good, but they attach to the wall, so I can't really do too much with them anyways until I put the wall in.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I forgot it goes on the wall. Yeah, I got the lights in. I just have to wire them. I got to decide where I want to bring the wire down. Now, I'm thinking I have these fancy pipe loads I got off of our OVR friend there for the pipe loads for those cars.
Yep.
And I was thinking about for my lights when I run them up the building, maybe trying to run this up somewhere to hide the wire.
Okay,
Almost make it look like maybe I don't know, like a pipe or something, like a drain pipe of some kind or whatever. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because one of the first things that I took apart was all of these walkways. And look at all this, like it's perfect, like that's round sprue, and it's probably about like, what is that, like 10 inches, 8 to 10 inches straight of just, sprue.
Yeah.
And they're all different sizes, and these can be easily turned into different types of a thicker pipe.
Yeah.
And
sure.
it's I saved them all because I don't know exactly what I'm doing yet. I know I've got pipes that from my ethanol kits, because you can go out, you can buy a full kit that's specifically just piping. But yeah, just in case anybody wants to save some coin, you could probably use sprue, the spare sprue from your kits.
That's a great idea. So that has to go there, I guess. That's weird how they did that.
In fact, I probably want to put on one of my walls today. Just not sure which one. I don't even know where they are. Oh, they're probably under here.
I still have some painting to do on mine, so I'm going to hold off to putting it on today. I did a bunch of the painting, like last week when I was unable to come up because my computer was acting up on me. I was painting, and I figured, well, since I'm not going up, I'll mess with the airbrush, and I painted a bunch of stuff and was taping this all off and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So I was working. I didn't come up. And then I did a lot of this today. Like I had painted the orange things here and all the supports and stuff. And then I think one day during the week, I cut all these dang things off of the sprues. And what I did was, I used my sprue cutter, cut them close, did a little light sanding on the bottom, make sure it was flat.
Yeah.
And then I put them on a piece of cardboard with double-sided tape. Stuck them all on there because when you cut them off the sprue, of course, you lose some of the paint because the paint doesn't cover where they attach. So I had to repaint those a little bit, and you know how it goes. The same thing with these
Unfortunately.
handrails. I'll probably have to do a little bit of touching up. I don't think it'll be noticeable too badly.
The funny thing is that, I mean, you could do them separately, like how I did, where you put in all the poles, but the ones that are in the very corners, so, I mean, I can tell you what number it is, but if you look at the ones for the very corners, the poles that are going up, specifically, and I'm going to have to turn the camera a little
Okay.
bit, specifically
Yeah.
this one here and this one, there's little dots that stick out along the outside, which go to the points at the wall. And then if you look at the wall piece, there's little holes along here, and then they click in. So if you line everything up correctly, you could technically just attach the pole piece to the wall while it's off, and then you can just add the whole thing on if you really want to. But I don't know. It's because I did all my walls completely separate, so but it's just an idea. I don't even know if any of that just made sense. It's this whole process is very overwhelming.
Yeah, Anthony Borden was saying basically the same thing. Stirring straw, put the wire through the coffee straw because they're hollow. Yeah, and I think that's probably what I'm going to do. I just have to decide like where I'm going to put the lights because I don't want them to be like visible when you're looking through. Because this kit, the windows are pretty see through. I mean, you have the screening and that. I guess I'll call it screening. The window dividers. It looks like a bazillion windows
Mm-hmm.
because of the framing around them, the way that they built the kit. But you still see through pretty good. And I'm probably going to try to keep the roof removable if I can. Hey, Mike. Actually, Mike's in here. Edward from Happy Valley Hobbies. Ronald Rondo is here. Ink Rails.
Trackside Mike, how's it going? Happy Valley, how's it going?
Trains by Perry. Flickr.com photos of trains. I don't know what that is. That Darren Hamill, Curly, hello. Elmar. Bubs is in here. Bubs says he was trackside today. Yeah, Joe, really. Joe said it just talking about the repetitiveness when we were talking about you building 3 of these. He built 3 of those refineries.
Oof.
From Walthers, and he deserves a medal for that. That is a tough kid, I hear.
The is that the one with the 3 pipes, that the big ones with all the walkways? The oil refinery?
Yeah, the Walthers refinery kit.
Yeah, I don't think
Big
you
one.
could pay me enough to do that kit.
Yeah, it's a real pain in the neck.
Yeah.
Or it's just a lot of tediousness.
I did that kit a long time ago. That was another kit. I think I did that way too soon in my trial and error of building kits phase.
Yeah.
And first off, Walthers had messed up because all the walkway railings, like it comes on a brass sheet, and I had no idea. So I'm building this kit and I'm like, where are all the railings?
Yeah.
And then, I obviously had to call them, and then they sent me this piece of brass, and I'm like, oh, that's going to suck. Because, like, it's a flat piece.
Like the railings are all like etched metal, like etched brass?
Yeah, it came on a little, it had to have been like, 10 by 5 sheet of brass, and you have to pop every single one out, and you have to bend it to go with each curve.
Oh, wow.
All those walkways are curved. And I'm like, there's going to be no way I can do this. And it looked not great. I'm going to say that. And it's not a confidence thing. It was not a fun experience.
Yeah, and as we all know, Walthers is known for their lack of detail on their instructions sometimes. Once you build enough of their kits, you get used to that a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you just know to expect it, but it's tough sometimes. I'll move this out of the way. I gotta cut these out. So I wonder why they do two separate. Oh, I see. There's little nubs on them or something. On the one. Okay. Okay, Walthers.
I think their slogan should be Walthers, because you can't buy everything as a wood kit.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the only time I've never broken a handrail is after doing a wood kit. So,
See, now that's something I have not tackled yet. Wood kits.
I highly recommend it. Yeah, it's different. But
See
it's
a
fun.
nice wood like it was. Oh, come on, Dave. Think a grain silo, like an older style one. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Walthers makes the same kit as their prairie grain kit or whatever. It's the wood silo kit. But I wanted to do it in wood because I thought I could really detail it a lot better because you could. I wanted to make it abandoned, an old looking. So I just thought the wood would be easier to really weather up, and you could chop some boards up a little bit, and I mean I've seen guys do a really nice job with the plastic kits to make them look like wood, but I've never really mastered a lot of those techniques yet.
Yeah. Now Perry says that he used fingernail clippers to cut out his railings.
Oh, that's a good idea. That'd be good just to get these little nubs off after you cut them off. Because they're not really that easy. The railings are so thin, you can't really use sandpaper either on them or like a sanding file. I don't think I have anything that's thin enough or fine enough not to potentially break them.
Yeah, that's something I would definitely worry about.
Let's face it, you notice it. Maybe not so much in here, like you said, that the one you broke is going to be in the back somewhere. You're probably not going to see it that much, but like if you have a kit and like look at the like that refinery, for instance. If your handrails are all jacked up, you're going to notice that.
Yeah, because there's no way to hide that.
No,
There's no way.
and there's only so much glue you can do before it really looks like hell.
Yeah. Now, also this one here, I'm actually, because I just kind of happened. I didn't really plan for it this way, but this is going to be my third one, so it's farthest away anyways. So
Yeah,
again, put your practice one at the back if you do that. But
yeah. I guess
one thing I
I'll have to
did,
build another one.
and it's just to kind of show you guys, and I think this is going to be something I do going forward with all of my kids, because for once I don't have any, even though these are glued on, there's the clear plastic on here. There's none of that smoky kind of dried glue look, and it's because I used white glue, and it held really well. So
Would you glue? You glued the glass in with white glue?
yeah. So I put the clear piece on the back, and then I went around the edging of the entire window frame with the white glue, put some weight on it, and and it dries clear, obviously, but it doesn't leave that smoky look on your glass that some other glues would definitely do.
Yeah, I usually use that canopy glue. But even that kind of leaves a little bit of a, not supposed to, but
Can
the
never
micro
be too
scale
sure
one
with
or whatever it is,
some
like
of these.
microsol or whatever it is, but it's the the one for glass.
Yeah.
Shoot, I forgot what number was which. Damn it. I don't know if I'm in the camera. I'm just cutting.
ITLA makes some nice starter wood kits. Still painting brick. Yeah, I don't know if you got to catch my last build, Nelson, but my last big build was an ITLA kit. And honestly, like some of the best kit that I've ever done. But yeah, the brickwork is brutal because it looks, realistic. So you have a lot of bricks to work with.
That's another thing. At least on plastic kits, I don't know how it goes on wood. Wood might be a little easier to weather up and stuff, but maybe, I don't know. Because I haven't built one yet. I'm
I
trying to
find
get
that
the mortar lines.
wood kits absorb the paint way better, where with a plastic kit the paint just sits right on the top.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference that I see. I got to give this another minute for the glue to dry before I take these clips off here.
That's another thing I need to invest in. I don't know why I keep saying it and I never think of it. Put it on my Christmas list again. Those 3-2-1 blocks and stuff. I have none of those.
Those are great. And I got these little clips here at the dollar store. I think it was like $4 and you get like 6. And they've come in really handy. And if I lose it or break it, it was just a couple of bucks.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
And Mike wants to know if we're working on the same kit, and technically we are. Yes, we're both working on the Walthers diesel facility.
Yeah, Chris is just a little crazy. He's building 3 of them.
Just a little.
I will build one along with you, and then I will tune in and watch you build the other 2. Are you gonna continue on and build all 3 on this build, or?
Well, the big thing was that I wanted to get the one done live, and then I'm going to chip away at the other 2, but I'm going to focus more on working on it as much as I can off and on the camera, because there's a lot of little things to do, especially like when it comes to weathering or whatever. So yeah, because you'll notice like all 3 of my tracks are already in, but I didn't do that live. I only did 1 live. So
yeah, I gotta do that.
I want to do it, but I don't want to bore everybody. It's literally in some cases the equivalent to watching paint dry, which I know some people are okay with. I literally came to watch the paint dry. So, but again,
who is that? Steve 87. He always talks about that.
Yeah, he loves that.
Paint dry. I think it's Steve. Anything tricky about putting the tracks in? I should know.
Yeah. So when you take a full length of the flex track, what code are you using?
I'm using 100.
100. Okay. So yeah, same as me. So, it's a 3-foot piece. Cut them at 18 inches. Then that's 2 bays right there. I put, because most of the ties are being removed. Is it coming out the back side as well, or are you just using the front door?
I kind of have to decide on it. I'm probably going to leave them like longer just in case.
Mm-hmm.
I can always cut it short, or maybe leave it long enough to have one length of locomotive out the back.
So
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
when
The
you
front would be the tall side for me, anyways.
when you look at the front of mine here, I
Yeah.
have it coming out to about there, and then I put an Atlas Code 100. It's a 3-inch piece on the front, just because it's solid.
Mm-hmm.
So I soldered the rail to that, and then I removed all the ties. So you could probably do that on both ends, and you can
Yeah.
even probably put a longer piece on the back, depending on how far you want to come out, and it will literally fit in, like, with that piece of rail in between, at
It just
both
just
ends.
drops down in there, and did you super glue them or what?
Yeah, I just used the regular super glue, and then I weighted it, and then you're good to go.
Cool. I saw a guy that when he did his, he actually left some ties in the middle too, like inside,
Oh,
just while he was gluing it down, like just a few to
oh,
keep
just to
it
keep the
to keep it from doing any kind of wavy bowing things, just in case he got any of these off or crooked a little bit.
yeah.
I might try that. It don't sound like a bad idea. My luck, I'll try to take those ties off and break everything. So that'd be my
I
luck.
mean, it sounds like it would work.
Yeah. But I think I'll leave it long, even like if it's just, a 3-inch piece on each end, like you were just talking about. Um, just to keep it all in line, I think. I don't know. Just being extra cautious because I'm really not sure exactly how it's going to go in. I have an idea where I'm going to put it, but I have to see how exactly it'll go in there so that, tracks, it's going to kind of probably have to come around a corner, around a curve, I think,
Yeah.
in order for me to cut the plywood out and fit it in. I have to see. I haven't played with it too much as far as fitting it in on the layout. I mean, it'll fit. I just don't know exactly where I'm going to go with it.
There's a bit of a
Yeah.
trial and error to it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Which one was 49? Flat.
Okay, my first slim walkway is in there. I had to loosen up my wiring a bit, but still going to be well hidden. So, and yet you don't really know until the whole thing is in place and you're running trains through it. So,
Where'd you bring your wiring out for that
uh,
side? For the side one?
closest to the wall. So, if I tilt it, actually no, it's easier to move the camera to show you.
Or did you just go like straight down and out the bottom, or did you try to go down to one end and out or something?
It's easier to see from behind here. So the walkway, the skinny walkway, I put a hole at the bottom of the ramp, and then for these two, it's literally right under the ramp. So
Yeah.
obviously you can't see
The
it.
ramp hides it really well. Okay.
And then that one's over there. So it's
Because
4 separate holes, but
I actually glued mine down on the side of those stanchions. I actually glued it to the side of them and painted them orange,
oh, nice.
and
Yeah,
then
that'll work.
drilled the hole right next to that. So I think that kind of is what gave me a hard time to trying to mess with that. I think it kind of made it harder. What was up with this thing? Why is this thing so wide?
The one thing I know I have to do with the back section is that the beams that go across to prop up the roof, they go up in a point. It's almost triangular, and it's to hold obviously the angle roof. But because I want it to be flat, I have to turn all of them upside down so that it's flat supporting the top. So that'll be fun. That's probably good.
Did these little handrails of yours, these, when you're building this section,
Which one's that?
you know, when you're doing this, these handrails here,
Oh, I hate that.
2 different numbers. Why is one of them? One of them is
Yeah.
like too wide. I feel
Too wide?
So I grabbed the wrong. Well, there you go. Man, I just shot that across somewhere. There it is.
Well, I had to put on the straight ones first so that I can paint the angled ones separately, because they're too close to the concrete there. So I wanted to paint it all separate.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But yeah, those little handrails, I don't look forward to those at all.
It says to use number 49, and I don't know. Let's see. Let me read something here.
So I'm not gluing to that. Oh, I didn't put glue on that. That's why. Do I not have another one? I thought I had 6. Why is there only 5? Maybe I only have 5. Huh. One thing I did do is that the connecting walls, so this one here, you can notice that there's no glass. I didn't put any glass in here, so I have a lot of extra pieces. So not only did I remove the center partition here, I didn't put in the glass or the grill type facing to it. There's also little nubs up along here that support vents, and I can show you on this piece here probably. Here's one here. It sticks out. So because I want them flat against each other, I had to take these off, and they're right along the side. So I took them all off on this one here to get this as flat as I can to the one beside it.
Oh, that's because you're putting them side by side. I got you.
Yeah, because I can't put any vents there, so. But I'm hoping they go side by side rather easily. Like you can get them super close, I hope.
You should be able to. I don't see why you couldn't get them close.
See what I do.
Yeah, on those side platforms, is there any railings or anything for that?
Yeah, the very front and at the very back, which, to be honest, is a bit of a safety concern. But you know, I don't know what their thought process there was.
So what do you use? Is there a ramp for those two to get up?
No, not even.
There's no way to get up to those, huh? You just.
Nope.
Well, that's kind of inconvenient.
Super.
Well, that makes sense. So we have to walk across the locomotive to get to the other side.
Possibly. Yeah, that's one way you could do it.
Kind of weird. You can't just come up that ramp on that side. Like, how do you get? Like, how would you get like toolboxes and stuff on that side? I guess you just have to go from one side and walk everything around.
There's some things there I don't think that they fully,
Yeah, because you have the ramp down into the pit from that side, so you could go under it. It'd be something you could probably. I don't even know. You do a set of stairs or something there instead of that ramp. That wouldn't work either, though. Huh. Well, that answered my question where these other railings go that I'm probably going to lose now. There's a set of these little short railings.
Yeah.
Well, the one set is wider than the other. The ones that go on those side platforms are a little wider to go on each end.
Yeah, that's definitely a part where you really got to watch those numbers.
Yeah. Damn it. That's what I was saying to you before, is that it's one of these things wider than the other because it wasn't fitting. It's too wide for the platform.
Like where the holes go.
Oh, okay, Perry. I've seen that. Yeah. Our guys have done that now. That makes sense. They put a walkway across the two platforms once the locomotive is in place. So they could get from one side to the other instead of having to drop down onto the locomotive and across. That makes sense. All right, come on. Get in the damn thing. Like I said, I've been on and off working on this thing all day because I was trying to get it to a point where I was at least somewhat, I don't say caught up, not really a race. I'm not behind. I had time to work on it today, so I decided to do that.
Oh, good. I think I'll be doing this for a while. It's definitely not a 2-minute kit.
No.
And I'm fortunate enough to get some of this done while I'm working, but at the same time, it's like, I have to leave some so that I can do some of it live, and then, planning, and there's a lot of tedious parts to it where, you're just not excited about doing it, like the railings here. And then there's a lot of dry time as well with the glue and waiting for the glue to dry. And
yeah, that and then like painting and stuff.
Yeah. The whole you can't do this part until you do this part.
And that seems to be that way when I build any kit. I'm just kind of like, I like to try to paint things ahead of time because it's a lot easier when you can paint something on a sprue to hold it for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then trying to get back in there with a paintbrush or something to, touch up these little teeny pieces parts is not fun. Not fun at all.
Oh, and this part here, because I know you're going to have to do both sides and whatnot. I'm going to show you, because this is the one thing that I don't think has changed at all, and something that Walthers really has to consider with this kit, is that these pieces here, the not the glass, but it's almost like a corrugated, or I don't know, the little squares or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit. Again, with this one, I had to cut it. I had to cut a hole, like the end of it off, in order for it to fit into this space.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. What the heck?
It's super tight. Again, not thrilled, and every single square is like that. Like, I had to cut off a line here, I had to cut off a line on the back, I had to cut off a little piece here. It's not noticeable if you do it well and you can blend it or whatever color you're using, but you really have to trim it down just to fit in your wall piece, which I don't think is right, but here we are. So that's one thing that I had to do with the old kit too. And I'm like, maybe it's just the kit. I got a bum kit or something. I don't know. And then, yeah, this one's the same.
Well, no, I'm really not looking forward to doing that. There's got to be a trick to it or something.
The only easy part were the back windows. These ones here. This was the only easy part of that, and I have no idea why. But you still have to jam them in there. Just make sure you use the white glue and get your glass on first everywhere, and then this will sit properly in there once you obviously jam it in there. But yeah.
So glass first.
Yep.
That's that railings, huh? Well, one side, anyways. Can't really see it. This base is so big, it's hard to show anything. But
I'm glad they don't try to sell this as a beginner kit.
yeah,
It would
right.
be very misleading.
Again, it's a lot of small, tedious pieces. Yeah, I'm gonna get this other railing here on, and then I'm probably gonna just call it. I'm getting kind of tired of building this thing today.
All good.
Well, I start to get frustrated or too tired, then I make mistakes, and then I'm not. You know how that goes.
Yeah, it's always good to take a breather or step away from it, and then it doesn't hurt. I'm personally not a big fan of painting or gluing things that are already painted. I like gluing things that are not painted because it works out so much better. But with this here, I don't think I really had much of a choice, unfortunately, because a lot of this requires that you paint it off paint it separately to get like more detailed parts done.
Right.
Because even with the front wall and the back wall, I have to do about 3 or 4 different colors on those in general, like obviously base color white and then a few other colors. But Yeah, and I have to do that before I glue it to the base, where most kits that I do, I can glue all four walls to the base and then paint the whole thing the one color.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't think I even asked you what are you doing for colors on this one?
well, I did the whole thing, like the primary color is white.
Yeah.
And then I have my concrete colors, and then I did a nice, like it's a, I don't know, like a smoky gray for the metal sides, and then obviously my concrete color, yellow color. It's not like a bright, beautiful building, like especially
Yeah.
compared to my other one. Like I did one in like a shiny blue. Whether you're a fan of blue or not, but yeah, this is more or less here. If we're looking from this side, it might be easier to see kind of the paint scheme here. But yeah, it's very bland, but it's straightforward. So it's, you know, concrete, light gray, and then the main building is white.
Yeah, that look good though. Not like your candy factory. There was
Definitely not like the candy
red and
factory.
it was all bright colored and looks really good.
That's a work in progress. I'll come
Yeah,
back
that
to
was an
that.
ice cream plant or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was doing Chapman's ice cream.
Yeah.
So
All right. I guess that looks all right. I just think sometimes you spend so much time trying to get these things to look perfect, and detailed and everything, and it's going to be probably not going to see half of it anyways.
it's true. Yeah, because well, I mean, like with you, what is that? Like your top level is like your eye level, basically.
Yeah.
So you'll see quite a bit, but from obviously straight on, almost like eye level perspective, which
Right.
you'll probably be able to see inside a lot better, opposed to if it's on like the bottom level where you have to really like bend down to get in and look at it.
No, that's a good point. Thanks. Now I got to make sure I do it even better.
Sorry. There was I don't know where my phone went. Where did it go? I think oh no, there it is. There was a couple of sites that were sent to me about some 3D stuff that you can get. One of them was Phil's Trains Layout Store, and I'll just kind of show you here. Go to the home page. This is kind of what it looks like. Phil's Train Store. And then he has like little buildings and whatnot. You can choose from a bunch of different things. N scale, HO. I don't know if there's S. I know there's HO. So there's furniture, buildings, garbage containers, rolling stock, detail stuff, and all that. Good website. I found some stuff on there that I'm probably going to order. And then there's an Etsy store.
Who's that for? Like interior details and stuff, or what?
Yeah. And then there's a Pete's 3D scale models on Etsy. And then he's got some stuff too, but I think this was sent to me because one of the buildings I want to do, not this, like a downtown building, I want to add an arcade. And this guy has like pinball machines,
Oh, wow.
Pool table, other carnival games, upright, like the cabinets, the video game cabinets.
Yeah.
You can kind of see those are all really cool, and they're mostly you can get them painted and whatnot, pinball machines, and they light up. So yeah, there was a bunch of that stuff I was going to get and do like an arcade, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, I like that idea.
That's how it was when I was younger. After school, go to the local mall, and the mall had an arcade, and
Yeah,
waste all
same
your
here.
quarters. What was your game? Was it the pinball, or did you just like the games?
I like pinball. Atari was real big at the time, so I was big into like Pac-Man and like Donkey Kong and those. And my wife was big into like uh, Galaga.
Galaga.
I like
Yeah,
Space Invaders too. That was a big one.
yeah.
Like I remember there was a Pizza Hut near us that had the tabletop one. Like you could sit down at the table.
Oh, nice.
You could sit on either side of it and play. So like two people could play. It was pretty cool.
The good old days, as they used to call them.
Yeah, before all this. We were playing video games and we still had to go somewhere. So we still had to, hang out with our friends actually in person and stuff, and
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like, I sound like an old fart, but the kids today, I feel like they're missing out on that kind of like coolness or camaraderie or whatever you want to call it.
yeah, yeah. They won't know the joys of putting the quarter at the top to let everybody know that they've got next play.
Yeah, you got the etiquette,
Yeah,
arcade etiquette. The people standing around, watching you, crowding around you when you're having a good game or something and getting high score and that kind of stuff. And you get to put your initials on the machine, and those are good times.
oh yeah.
Showing our age, Chris.
I guess. Mike wants to know if you're going to Amherst this year or next year.
Probably not this year, unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah, I know, I feel the same way about it, but I don't know. We'll see. It's a fun time. It's a really fun time.
they got me hooked now.
Yeah, I know. I've been the last 2 years. I was there.
Oh yeah. I saw you last year, and then I
Yeah,
was saying for years, I'm like, yeah, I want to go. I want to go. Same thing with the one in Calgary. There's a big one out west, and it's probably the biggest one in Canada, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
And I've been saying I want to go to that for years, but I haven't, because I think I'd have to fly. I don't like going to stuff like that alone. So
Yeah. Take too long to drive to Calgary, I'm sure.
yeah. 9 times 2, and back to number 9. Yeah, it would take me 3 days to get there, says Mike. I mean, I could take the Via, but then there goes all my spending money.
Yeah. Well, we drove one year to Amherst, and we took to the Amtrak last year, which was cool.
Yeah.
Took a few hours longer, and then you're kind of, it stops a million times, and then you're dependent on their schedule, and it only runs through here. Well, I guess it's once a day, really. Well, twice. It goes out and back, to Chicago, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then back. So, but he comes through so damn early, and it was fun. The first time I ever took the train anywhere. In Amherst being in January, you just never know what's the weather going to be doing, and do you want to worry about having to drive in some kind of crazy snowstorm or something, and
Yeah. Yeah. When I was driving there last year, I'm not used to driving in the States. Um, in fact, I'm pretty sure I've only done it once before, but it was just over the bridge to Buffalo.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, I got lost and I added an hour to my trip. And so it should have only taken me 7 hours to get to Amherst, it took me 8. So
Yeah,
that
you're a little
was,
closer to me then. I think it took us 9 hours to drive it, and it was 12 on the train. It was neat. I mean, it was a cool experience.
yeah. I think it's better when you have someone with you opposed to going it by yourself because
Yeah. Well, my wife went with me, obviously, so we rode together. It was nice because you bring snacks and stuff, and just
snacks are the
different
best.
different things to keep yourself occupied.
Yeah. So I think I've got a majority of this one built. There's
Yeah, sure.
obviously the front and the back still need to be done, but I don't want to put up the ends and then I can't reach inside and do whatever I need to inside. So I'm gonna leave it like that. You can see it's like open
So,
here.
so you're putting them all side by side, right?
That's correct.
So, are you putting a back wall? Is it going to be against the wall or anything? Or
Yeah, it's gonna be like literally in a corner. So there's a wall here and then a wall at the back. So this is in the very corner, basically. I don't know if I can fit the other one in here right now. Yeah. Whoops.
so you don't have to get too crazy on your back wall. That's going to be up against the wall, anyways.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like what I'm hoping. If it's, but again, it's eye level, right? So
Yeah, that's true too.
how much can you see? How much can't you see? But like there's two side by side.
Yeah,
And then once I glue them together, I can probably glue them at the base, and then I'll put some glue on here, and then I'll be able to pin both the walls together right along here, and then it'll look like one solid wall going down.
how do you plan
And
on pinning them together?
maybe a super strength adhesive. Maybe. I'm not completely sure yet.
I didn't know if you're going to like build a base or something that's big enough for all of them to sit on.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's gonna kind of look like a module.
Yeah,
So I have to find a piece of wood that's very flat that nothing will warp, and then I'll be able to place all three of them on there, and that way, if I have to remove my layout for whatever reason, knock on wood somewhere, then I can just take this whole thing with me because I'm going to use it again in the future. There's no way I'm going to get rid of this thing.
Yeah, going through all that, building all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, this will be coming with me. So it's not too big in the sense that, you can throw it in the back of your SUV or whatever and take it to a show and maybe line up some locomotives on it. That would look cool. And then because the lights, all I have to do is plug it in and the lights will come on. I can light it up anywhere, really. So
you're going to do some kind of like plug and play type connections on the ends or something, or
well,
for
the
the
main lights, the,
lights?
the the underside lights. So this is what I used for my last layout. This thing right here. And mine the piece of wood. I had to wrap it around something. So this is how I lit up my old layout, and I had the LED strip lighting on the underside of the layout pointing down. And there's the power button. There's your brightness and your dimmer, and it plugs into a little power thing, and it runs right through the strip. So all I got to do is run a wire from the shortest part of the strip here to a, what are they called? One of these things, a terminal strip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that'll all be my negative, and I've got one for my positive, and then I attach every single wire to this, and that'll feed every single light.
That's smart. Hey, Tammy. Tammy,
Again, just recycling what I already have. Obviously, because the kits, they're like, I think one kit is like 90 to 110, so it's already a $300 build.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it cheaper or less expensive, I guess. But yeah, so don't want to spend more than what I need to, anyways.
I can't say I blame you there. So when you're building three of them, and you get a lot with the kit, but it's not one of those kits where you get like anything extra, really.
No, yeah, which is kind of weird, like for Walthers anyway, because usually Walthers is good like that, and they add extra stuff, but not in this case.
Yeah. Well, I know, like when I built the cement company, the Walthers, whatever it's called, their cement plant, the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of extra stuff in that kit. Most of the kits I built, you end up with extra pieces, parts, and I was just telling my wife the other day, I need to get some kind of a drawer set. I saw like Joe Rader has a really cool, just like a set of drawers, but he has them all labeled with different types of extra pieces, parts. Some drawers are bigger, some drawers are smaller. But it's all like kind of in one area.
I've got one of those. Well, mine is by Tupperware, but it's a 3-drawer thing, and they're big drawers.
Yeah.
And yeah, I fill them with all the bits and sprues of kits that.
Okay, Tammy. Have a good night.
All the extra parts and whatnot.
Yeah.
Which is another thing. I go through there every so often, and especially when I do something like this, where all the treasures you can find. Oh, I forgot about that. What can I use that for? That kind of situation. And how can I incorporate that into this? So it's always good to have one of those. Mom and son, how's it going? Tammy and Ray.
What do I do with the cap to this? All right, guys, I think I'm going to call it a night. I'm getting kind of tired, and I think turn in early tonight. I don't know. Hey, John.
Seems like one of those nights.
Yeah, but no, it's good. I got some stuff done today, and I got to build a little bit with you tonight, and I'll probably finish up those walkways and work on getting the rails in before next week. Problem is, Saturdays end up getting kind of busy.
Yeah.
I think next week we have some kind of church dinner or something, but I don't know what time that is. Like when it'll be over. Like we're working on a spaghetti dinner or something, fundraiser or some stuff.
Nice. Everyone likes a spaghetti dinner.
Oh yeah. But
Well,
I don't think it's going to go too late. But what's that?
I said, I'll be here, still chipping
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're obviously welcome back anytime.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's fun. I like doing this. It's just cool to hang out and see all of our friends, even though we're kind of ignoring them all.
They should have got the kit.
Yeah, I know. I try to look up every now and again. Oh yeah, Timonium was this weekend, huh? How did that go?
Was that this
I
weekend?
know Tammy and Ray came up. Plumber apparently is up there too.
Is he doing better?
I don't know. Did he come up? I didn't think I would be able to settle Plumber and Ray down. Yeah, he must be up there. Plumber's like that guy. I love that guy. I mean, he's so like energetic. It's crazy
Plumber?
how much. Yeah, man.
Yeah. It reminds me of the energy I had before I had children.
Yeah. He's like the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, I know it's you guys say the one in October is the largest of them. Yeah, 200,000 miles an hour. Unfortunately, I can't. It's my anniversary usually around this time. Like my anniversary is Monday.
So, happy anniversary.
Thanks. 29 years this year.
Wow. Right on.
Oh, yeah, man. So, I usually go to the one in April. It's pretty good, the one in April too. But I don't know if I'm going to go to anything this year because our 30th is next October, and we're going to probably try to take a big trip, for our 30th or something, a little better or bigger, I should say. And that's going to probably curb my spending on trips for the year. We'll see.
Yeah, 30 seems like a big one, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping to make it that far. I mean, there's always time.
Depends on how many train shows you go to this year.
Exactly.
Now,
David, new Walthers transformer. I don't know that I have any room to put the new Walthers transformer factory, to be honest with you, Anthony. Actually, somebody had mentioned it in my chat on Thursday morning, and I just looked it up, and it looks like a really nice kit, transformer factory. But here again, it's another retread from everything else they have.
Do you follow Walthers on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they always do their new product express.
Yeah, that's what I was just watching it on, I don't know, last night or something, or the other day, Thursday maybe. But it looks like a lot of the buildings are pretty similar to what they've already put out. Maybe a different door here or whatever.
Yeah,
they have the overhead crane part of it there, and they might have updated that a little bit. And of course, the transformers, but.
Now you have a show Thursday morning you were talking about. Just for those who maybe don't, I mean, like I'm sure you have lots of people. Most of the people here know who you are. So, but just in case if anybody doesn't, you have a live show that you do every Thursday morning.
Yeah, it's the CR&E Morning Brew, 9 a.m. Thursday mornings. Crooked River and Eastern, CR&E.
So make sure everybody tunes in.
I guess. I don't know. I like it. I always kind of say it's like Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing. We just kind of get together and I yap and get behind on the chat, and they make fun of me, and then it's over.
But you'll still see a lot of familiar faces, which is great because, as much as as much fun as the hobby is, there's more in life. I know. Somebody in the chat's gonna curse me for it, but you talk about life. Life happens.
Yeah,
we're all living it, so can't pretend
right.
like it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
But
I try to keep it mostly, train related and stuff, but I don't like to get too political. I have my views. Everybody has their views, but I try to keep that out of it just because YouTube's funny.
yeah,
And well, once in a while we'll get into it a little bit, but most time when we do, it's based off of the cost of things and the economy because of how much things are costing, and that's kind of when we get off on those tangents.
I hear that.
And we've all felt it in the hobby itself, not just in life, but even with the hobby, it seems like everything's gone up. Even the lower the models are billed as the affordable lines for these different companies, seem to have had to raise the prices on their base models even.
Mhm. Well, I've seen that, especially with the Walthers ones, because Walthers was offering a DCC sound locomotive, and that's with lock sound, so it's not, you know, a cheap decoder. But
Yeah,
they used to be a $200 Canadian model, which
yeah,
for me that's amazing, right? It's a Walthers loco, so it already runs great,
yeah,
but it's missing a lot of detail and whatnot. But you can always add that. It doesn't cost a lot to add some detail parts depending on
right.
how far you
Well, a lot of
go.
guys don't even care about all that detail. They're not about the detail. They just want something that runs good
Yeah,
and looks nice.
the point A to point B, right? And
Yeah,
they definitely do that. But they went from 200 to about 230, 240 within the last couple of years,
yeah, for
which,
sure.
I mean, that $30, $40, I mean, that's a piece of rolling stock right there. So who knows? But yeah,
Well,
it
that's what
does.
gets me even more is the doggone rolling stock. Even for your your cheaper, your mainline versions or your scale train operator type stuff. I mean, they're charging for those what they were charging for their rivet counter and their proto lines and their
Mhm.
Genesis lines and that, or closer to that. Maybe not exactly, but you know what I'm getting at. Just uh, where whether they're still going to buy it or not.
It's true.
And
Yeah.
and that's the thing. They know it. They know it. So
Well, I mean, I think people would buy more if it wasn't as expensive, right?
right.
Where, yeah, sure, we might be able to buy one or two cars, but we'd buy the whole run if it was, a good $20 cheaper a piece. It's
Yeah, like they come out with these say 6 packs of like coal hoppers or whatever. Well, you might get a little bit of a deal because you buy all six in the run, but compared to individually, but not that much.
no.
But I don't know. I was just watching a video. What the hell was it from? Somebody I haven't watched too much. Somebody I never watched as far as that goes. But he went to the train show over here. I missed last weekend. There was a big train show here in Berea, but I was working the Saturday. We were busy Sunday, and I was like, man, I really number one don't really have the money right now to spend on that, or really the necessity for anything. I know
Mhm.
who needs it. We buy it anyways, right? It's more of a want than a need. But I wasn't really looking for anything. Usually, I like to go when I'm looking for something. And but he was talking about how he's just noticed a trend on how things are. You go to these shows, and you go to this show, and then you go to one another week or two later, or a month later, or a year later, and it's the same guys, it's the same product. Like they're not moving anything, and they're not discounting anything.
Yeah.
It's like the
I've
same
actually
old
seen the
stuff.
prices of some of those things go up, and it's like, but they
Yeah,
treat it like it's, a rare find at
yeah,
that point. And it's
yeah,
like, but you're still charging And I can use this as a really good example only because I'm familiar with it and I keep an eye on stuff like this. But
Yeah.
when Athearn made some passenger cars, the bi-levels, when they came out, they used to be $50 a piece, which is understandable because it wasn't really a prototype model. It didn't light up or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It did, whatever it was supposed to. Now they want like $200 for one of those cars.
Yeah.
And in cases where other companies have made the exact same car but better detail and they light up, they're cheaper. They're cheaper than something that's not even like accurate. So go figure.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird how it all works.
Well, they have the Walthers. Is it their proto line? They just announced some. Maybe it wasn't that the latest monthly thing, but they were like $90 for a passenger car or a baggage car or something. Somebody was it Athearn maybe. Somebody came out with a new baggage car. I don't know if it was on that Walthers site or if it was on Yankee Dabbler. Had a video. They put out a video once in a while. But yeah, it was like, damn. I'm not a passenger guy. I don't run a lot of passenger stuff at all, so I don't know if that's reasonable. Like what a normal passenger car would go for. I know when I bought my mainline Amtrak stuff, well, there's mainline. I feel like I got them. No, it hasn't been that long ago. I haven't had the layout up that long. I just finally got that Amtrak stuff up and running within the last couple of years, probably. I want to say they were in the $30 to $40 range for their passenger cars.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're mainline. They're not overly detailed or anything. There's no lights in them or nothing, but you can buy the lighting kit and all that and, change it over to the other wheels, electric wheels and all that. But still.
I always treat passenger cars like auto racks because you can get an auto rack for a good $50-$60, which is a low end passenger car.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get a really good auto rack for $100 to $120, which is a really good
like your Intermountain or your rivet counter stuff.
Yeah.
Proto.
And it's the exact same thing with passenger cars. So I don't know. Yeah, it's really depends on what you're going for, but the prices definitely have increased quite a bit. And I think the thing that bugs people the most is that there's still a lot of items, whether it's a passenger car or box car or whatever, they don't improve on them, or in some cases they're not as good, and yet they still charge more.
Yeah, or if they do charge the same price, like you said, they've lost. They take some of the details away.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just a pet peeve of mine. And I got to get going, but Athearn Genesis, you buy a $300+ locomotive, and they still give you those crappy ass plastic couplers. Like, I just spent $300 on a locomotive. You can't give me metal couplers with the damn thing. I know it sounds stupid. It's $5 worth of couplers, right? But it's $5 worth of couplers. You can't throw them in. I mean, come on, man. Even Walthers Mainline give you the metal proto couplers for their their rolling stock and metal wheels and stuff.
And that coupler is really like the Walthers coupler is like, I love those. Those are great.
Yeah,
I never really change out the Walther couplers. It's the Atlas ones. The Atlas ones are not that great, and then the same thing with the Athearn ones are not that great either.
Yeah, well, I just don't like plastic couplers. I try to change everything out that's not plastic. Even like the scale train rivet counters, I really don't like the way their couplers perform. They look good, but I used to change them out right away. But now once they start to bother me, like sometimes they kind of fail.
Yeah.
And then I change them out. But I don't know. Not a big fan of theirs. Now, like with their operator series, which is a lower end, quote unquote, lower end, compared to the rivet counter, you expect they give you plastic couplers. They look nice, but they're plastic.
Yeah.
But you expect that. That's what they're going to do.
I just recently got some
Yeah,
tank
you
cars from
trail.
them, which I was really impressed with. But
You do what now?
I just recently got some tank cars from Scale Trains, and
Oh,
I'm
they do
really
wonderful.
impressed with them.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I think most guys that know me know I'm a fan of scale trains all in all. The rolling stock. See, for me, the operator or the lower end. I'm not talking Tyco or well, you could actually do stuff with those old Bachman and Tyco cars too. But I'm talking about more your ready to roll stuff. It rolls nice. It looks nice. It looks good enough. Um, some stuff, if I want it bad enough, I'll buy it in a rivet counter, but I usually don't just because of the cost. You know, because you're not going to usually buy, say, one box car. You're going to have multiple box cars or coal cars or whatever to make up a train.
Hmm.
So you could buy, say, two of the cheaper ones that are still nice. They're just not as detailed. That's the only thing cheap about them or whatever. Why they're less expensive. Two of those for the cost of one of the rivet counters. So you get two tank cars instead of one.
Hmm.
And then they
Yeah.
always sell the detail kits if you're not blind and you want to actually put those
Well,
details on.
I mean, that's why, like, with my cylindricals, like, I love cylindrical hoppers, all the
Hmm.
colorful Canadian ones. I can take something like a Walthers, which would cost me about $35 to $40, and mix it in with Intermountain, which is usually about 50 to 60, and then, you know, dabble in a little bit of the North American rail car, which are like $70 to $80, and
Yeah.
you can't really see the difference when they're all rolling by, mixed up, and
Like right
yeah,
now, I'm looking at a Yankee Dabbler. Talking about cylindrical hoppers. I picked up a couple of them of theirs. They're 59 footers, so they're probably older. I don't know, but they got them on there for 18.99.
really.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
that's American, right? So
yeah. Oh, yeah, American.
25, 25 to 30 Canadian.
Yeah, and depending on
Oh,
shipping and that too. But like I picked up, I don't know how to pronounce it. It said Scholar, Scoular. It's a yellow car with corn on the side of it,
yeah.
and then there's another like yellow and silver, Canadian grain company or something. Just to see how they are, and for $19 a piece. It's like a closeout, it's still up there. It's her Monday night closeout. So you look for
Mhm.
stuff like that. It's the main line basically. I mean, it had metal wheels and metal couplers, and it's nice. They're all
Yeah.
nice. I'm running around here somewhere.
Do you like box cars? Are you a box car
Yeah,
guy?
I like
You want
box.
a really good box car? Try an
Yeah,
Aurora miniatures. I don't know if you have any.
no, I don't. I was trying to talk my wife into let me buy one of the pink ones for the breast cancer month, but
Yeah, they're still around. It's still possible to find those.
well,
Those
I
are
saw.
the 50 footers, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I seen them up at the OVR event last year. They were selling a bunch of them up there.
Yeah. I think they still have some too. But yeah, between the 50 and the 60-foot box cars that Aurora makes, like, they're so well detailed. They're really nice, but you do end up paying a little bit more, but it's one of those cases where it's worth it.
Yeah, yeah, that looks really nice. I was too busy using my coupon over and over on the
the
Intermountain. The
the
Intermountain.
Intermountain ones.
Yeah, I spent all my money on that and corn syrup cars and stuff from Intermountain.
Oh
I don't know if
man,
they realized that they did that or not, but man, it was nice. So
good times.
yeah, he was. I was bummed when he didn't do it this year, or he couldn't because of space.
Yeah,
So
but next year, hopefully,
yeah, hopefully. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. It was good to talk to you, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Do you build your layout
absolutely.
for operation or just rail fan? You too, Chris. Do you build your app for operation or rail fan? It's kind of both. I can do operations, but I kind of like the rail fan. It's just
Same.
me. I don't have anybody over to operate. So if I do operations, it's just me, which is fine. I do it. I haven't done one in a while. I've been doing other things. I got a damn 3D printer and printing like crazy. Stuff, just detail stuff. Trying to get used to using that.
Yeah, I'll put a train on, and that's a big reason why I don't do a point to point layout, is because I just like to put on a train and let it run around.
Yeah, me too.
I'll take some photos and whatnot. I mean, you've got lots of great scenery there, so of course you gotta capture those moments, right?
Yeah. Well, I
So,
mean, you did, and you will again.
well,
You, you do you do really great work.
thank you. I try. It's
Um,
always it's weird when I see something compared to somebody else. Like when I look at it, I'm like, I could probably do better. And then I think the nicest comment someone ever gave me was, "Oh, you should be a model railroader." And in my mind, I'm like, "No, I shouldn't." I'm far away from that. But nice things. The community is always there to boost your spirits.
yeah, no doubt. Like I didn't have one running tonight, but like earlier when I was working down here, I had a train running around. Just to hear the train run. And, wasn't even really paying attention to it. I just like to listen to them.
Yeah,
So, or
yeah.
sometimes I'll put like rail fanning videos or something on YouTube while I'm working, stuff like that.
Well, it's definitely one thing I miss is doing the lives where all I would do is run the trains and people would just come to watch the trains run.
Hmm.
That's what I miss. So hopefully at some point I'll be able to do that again. But
Yeah, I gotta get. I wish there's got to be a way, and it's probably really expensive. But I wish I had like some motion sensor like type cameras that would pick up the train when it gets to that area. Automatically pick up that camera. Didn't Ron have that? Toyman, didn't he have something set up like that?
well, I have a buddy that watches, and he has one of those camera cars, and he has a it's almost like an application that he's
Hmm.
building, where if the camera's on his layout, he can send you a link, and you can drive his locomotive,
Really?
pushing the camera around.
No joke. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, and he's sent me the car on when I had my old layout, and I wanted to do a locomotive view, but I've also driven his locomotive on his layout, technically while I was working, but
Hmm.
yeah, like from my house, and
That's cool.
I think they were working on something for doing that with Sparky's layout.
Oh,
Um,
really?
Yeah. And then he just recently, like after I was done with the car, I sent it to, the layout Northlands.
Yeah, heard of it.
They have the car right now.
Hmm.
So yeah, quite a few people, including George from Soundtracks, he had the car at one point too. I'm not sure what came of that, but
Hmm.
uh, it's fun. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe soundtracks would get into making something like that.
Possibly,
You know,
but
I
I
don't
think
know.
he
That's the
owns like
thing.
a patent to it, so I'm not completely
There's so
sure.
many cool things, though. You know, if you want to get into all that, if you're, you know, tech savvy and want to get into
Mhm.
all that stuff, like
Yeah.
before Ron had cameras that he didn't see. Like I could put cameras around, but I have to physically click on each camera. So I have to pay attention to where the train's at so I can click it so that it'll pick it up when it gets there, and I'd like to do something where there's like a motion camera that would automatically switch over to that camera. And I don't know how you would set that up. I don't even know if that's a thing. I'm guessing it would be probably be more like a in the security realm of things, maybe,
Yeah.
security
And then
cameras.
you'd just have to have a central hub where it would more or less go connect to a computer where you would then live stream it, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, you'd have to do something like that. It'd be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. especially because like you've got a pretty big layout too, so you could hide those cameras pretty well in there, and then it would pick it up as it's coming closer to the camera and whatnot.
Yeah, I do want to do a camera car at some point, or some kind of cab ride. I enjoy those videos.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, that'd be cool to see because we only ever see like part of the layout.
yeah, I know. This is the
So
best place to sit in the room, but
mhm.
there's not much like to see behind me right now. It's not really very scenic or anything. So like off
How often
to
do you work on the layout often, or are you at a point where you're just kind of like, well, I'll run trains more than working on it?
yeah, I get an idea like, and then I'll start working on it, and then like this building, this kid will probably kick me into trying to start doing more work on that upper level. I was working on the city scene for a while, and Dave, have you seen Vic Smith's City Edge layout? That's where I tried getting my layout to run trains. I think I've seen Vic Smith. Maybe I have. Name sounds familiar.
If you want to see that camera, the camera car, you might
Yeah.
even be able to get in on it because you've got a really good layout. Check out Canadian Locomotive Logistics. He's on YouTube, and I know he has some videos there, and he constantly does lives, so he can stream that car live as well. So it's very neat. And I think I have a video or two. If you check out the last run of my last layout, or the final run, I use that car to do a full loop of my layout. You just got to have really good Wi-Fi as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not wired in or anything. Mine's on Wi-Fi.
mhm.
So
I seem to have better Wi-Fi here than at my old house, but I think it's because the basement is more open, so nothing's
yeah.
being blocked or
Funny, once
deteriorating.
I put the divider wall and I put in the backdrop on the lower level of the peninsula,
Mhm.
being that my Wi-Fi for the NCE system is kind of over in the corner here behind me. I feel like I get over in that corner and I kind of it's hard to. I have to move that thing more central. I think I
Mhm.
lose like signal, a little bit of signal, like it kind of acts up.
Mhm.
It's not that big of a room, really. It's really not,
Yeah.
but it's. I think it's because I have like a wall kind of blocking it in the middle of the room. Really, like if you're standing
Yeah.
where I'm at, like I can't see the other side of the layout.
Oh, really? Oh,
It's
jeez.
there's the peninsula is right here in front of me, and
Yeah.
then obviously got a backdrop and everything on it, so I can't see over there. I mean, it's not that far. It's just I can't see it.
Right on. Well, yeah. It's
So
hopefully you can get a camera car because I'd love to see a trip around the layout and then like the top and whatnot. That'd be
yeah,
cool. Your
I did the
main
one
line.
video where I did the one video where I just kind of followed it with my phone, just followed the train around and up and whatever. But I'd rather do it in a camera car. I think it'd be kind of really cool, especially
Is
to
it?
watch you go up through the climb.
Yeah, it's a totally different perspective altogether.
Yeah.
You tend to see all your little mistakes at that point. I'm like, oh, that rail's a
Mhm.
little kinked, so you got to.
Yeah.
It's good to be able to see that stuff too,
That's what I was
right?
saying when I built the bridge and I weathered the bridge. I some people when I was doing it, they're like, "Well, you're not going to see the backside." I'm like, "Yeah, but one of these days I might get one of those, camera cars, and I want to see the backside of those. When you're going through the bridge, you're going to see the back of all those
Mhm.
girders and stuff, or at least some of them." So,
Like I've got these cameras. Like when I'm doing my other lives, like
mhm,
that's a camera there, and it's wireless, and I can put it in a well car. The only problem is it can't go through tunnels, like your
mhm,
standard. What would you call it? Like portal.
yeah,
And it didn't work on my old Helix because like it would touch the
too
top
high.
next level. So now I have to fix it a little bit so that I can actually use it in the Helix and make sure
Yeah,
it does have enough clearance everywhere because I was already half done the layout at that point when I got those cams. So
they make really small ones, too. But I don't
mhm.
know. I haven't found one that I've been able to figure out right.
You can try GoPro. GoPros are pretty easy to use and they're pretty small. I know Sparky had one, and I think he sold it to Dundas Junction James. So now James has it, and he's been having so much fun with it. So it might be worth it to look into the GoPros.
See this Jitsi meeting can swap video by sound, and Roku has a video locomotive. It's kind of cool. Somebody had that way back when. Somebody had a camera locomotive. Was it Lionel or somebody?
I remember one where it was you could literally slide your phone into it, and there was a mirror that reflected. It was like on an angle, so it would capture what was happening in front, but
Really?
it would go like the length of the car.
That's kind of
Do you
cool.
remember those?
I don't remember that, but that's kind of cool.
Now, I don't know if it was one that somebody had sold or if it was one that somebody had custom made, but because of the height of most phones, like if it's on its side like this, right? It's just that's not too bad. And when I compare it to this, well, they're about the same.
Yeah, they are.
Same size, right?
Yeah,
But
if that camera didn't have that little nub on the bottom of it, that little screw part or whatever is on the bottom of that camera, you would have been fine if that wasn't on there.
Yeah, it's got like I can remove it, but I have no idea what kind of hex type screw these are that are on there. I definitely don't have a bit for it. I think Sparky said something about he has a tool for that, but
some kind of Allen key of some sort.
Yeah, and to answer Anthony's question, I've technically got 3 of them. These are 2, and the other one's out there on a tripod somewhere. But yeah, I've got 3, and they all work with my phone.
Man, I got just these cheapy ones I got off Amazon or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
they still work.
That's what I was working on. I had that before when I was showing you the model that we were working on. They're okay. They're not great. I think if I actually had a desktop instead of a laptop, I'd have better luck running cameras in general. I feel like just the laptop, I don't think has enough power to do as many cameras as I want to do.
Yeah. Like even for mine, like I've got those 3 and they run off my phone, but I can't do this. There's no social interaction. I have to pull up on my laptop completely separate, just the chat, you know, so I have to go into the video as it's playing live, just to be able to see it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really support all that.
Now, the one I'm on now is a Logitech. I think it's a 920 or 22 or something like that. So it's a little bit better of a camera, a lot better of a camera than these that I have. That I just wanted some cheap cameras to put around, and yeah, we'll see. Eventually, I'll get there.
Yeah, it takes a bit. It's an
I got a couple that I try to move around. Like when I do my live stream, I try to, change up the scene from time to time so I can show something when I'm running, or if I'm working on something. Like I was working on the city, the town. So problem is I have nothing tall enough to reach up there, and or nothing short enough. So I either gotta get something shorter, or get a taller stand. Right now I have to put my stand on top of a stool, which works, but it's kind of a pain. It ends up being in the way.
I had that issue, and then I did find it's like a 6 or 7 foot tripod, because with my old ones I could view the second level and the bottom level.
Yeah,
but I would have to do that whole thing where you put it on a chair to be able to view the top level. Right. So then I just ended up getting the 6 footer. It's either 6 or 7, just to be in line with the top level.
Yeah.
So.
And did you have to stand on something just to view that, or because I have to stand on a stool, like if I want to work on that level, just like if I want to get back there, it's too far to just reach. And
I had a step ladder. I'm short. Well, you've seen me. I'm short.
Well, not really short, but too short for that to work on it. Problem is, the step ladder I have, first step is a little bit too short. The second step, I'm ducking. Because the ceilings are only like 7.5 feet or something, not really that tall.
Yeah.
So
but it's fun. And you've been to Sparky's layout, right?
yeah,
That I'm like,
I know. So you can't even really see that level at all.
but the funny thing is, like, you have someone like Mark, M&M Rails, he would come over, and that's like eye level for him. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to use the top level. This is
Yeah,
great.
because I'm 6 foot, but he's like, how tall? I never met Mark. How tall is Mark?
I don't know. I've never asked him. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's tall. He's like at least 6. I think he's at least 6.
Yeah.
He's gonna see this and he's gonna text me later. He's gonna be like 6'2", buddy. Come on.
Yeah.
No, I have no idea.
Yeah, because I'm 6 foot, and this comes to about like here, right around my chest, upper chest, the second level, which is fine for just viewing. It's great for viewing,
Yeah.
But if you want to get up there and do any work, you got to get a little taller to get in there and do anything.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think that like it's good if you need like for my old layout, it was such a small room. The only way I would have that extra running is for that third level. That's why this time around, I'm like, I'm just doing 2 levels. I don't care
yeah.
that much. I've got a bit more of a run space,
So
which
you
is
doing a
small.
helix then, or what are you gonna do? Or are you
Yeah,
doing
I'll
a
still
run?
do a helix. Yeah.
Yeah. Part of me wishes I would have done one. I just didn't want to take the room space out of the room. So I wish I had a room in the. Wish I could have grabbed space out of the other room where the laundry's at to put the helix, but I wasn't able to do that.
I was
I couldn't get the
originally
okay.
I was supposed to put the helix in here, and then I made the room too small. I'm off about like a foot, and because I didn't want to like go too far, and I had to tie in with like the roof joists, so I was about a foot short. And at least this way, I've got 2 desks, like a work desk and then my hobby desk.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You kind of you make it work. You go as you go, and then you just improvise the rest of the time.
We all can't have a giant helix like Sparky.
Yeah, that thing's massive.
It's cool
But,
as hell, though, man.
yeah, it's the helix. Like I saved my entire helix from the last layout, so I'll basically just be rebuilding that.
Did you dismantle it, or were you able to take it all in one piece?
No, there's no way that would have fit up the stairs because it's like it sits on a 6x6 platform.
Oh,
so I basically removed all the track. I sold off all my track, all my switches, but I left the cork on. So all I got to do is I'm just going to power sand to get rid of any like bits of glue or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'll be able to put it all right back. I'll probably space it out a little bit more so I can fit my cameras. I'll just have to readjust the whole thing to fit.
I don't remember. Was yours? Did you do like the threaded rod for yours, or did you do blocks?
Nope. I did. There was six or 7 posts going around the inside with like L brackets coming out, and then the curved plywood would just sit on the top of the L bracket.
That's how my climb is. My climb is all on L brackets.
Yeah.
So works.
So I basically did what you did, but I go in a circle opposed to like.
I did a circle. Mine's just a big circle.
Mine's
a big circle. Mine's not a tall circle.
No, I just meant the rise, right? Because yours goes up the wall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying mine's still a circle. It's a room. But yeah, it's good. Mine's an L because it kind of goes into the L and then around, and that's the thing you got to watch. You can't take real long stuff up even.
Oh,
the
really?
curves aren't real tight.
Yeah.
But you have a curve and then a curve and then a curve. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, so you get all that weight pulling in on them curves and pushing down on those curves too. So if you could get your trains running right and you get you can put a mid unit in, and that helps a lot.
Yeah. What size are your curves? Like, what's your biggest radius? What did you go off of?
Mine's all 28s. I really, if I would have went too much bigger than that, I wouldn't have had room to do what I did. So my peninsula is a wider curve. I didn't even measure the curve on that. It's probably 32 or so. I don't know. It's just I just fit it to the curve of the peninsula.
But that's still pretty decent because even if you have a long piece of rolling stock going around a curve, it's not going to have that ugly overhang. You
Yeah.
know, it's still going to be within the cork,
Yeah.
itself. You know, so
Yeah, it
that's
doesn't
not
look too
bad.
bad. 28's, I use those sweep sticks or whatever you can buy.
Mhm.
And then I got the 28 inches and radius for those. I actually got some 26 because going into like my yard, there's one area where it's a little tighter just to fit it inside. So,
Yeah.
but I got use those sticks to try to keep it, to keep it the right radius. I don't want to get any
Mhm.
kinks.
The consistency,
So,
yeah, the
yeah.
consistency is important with the curves for sure.
So, but most anything I run, I don't notice it. I mean, I guess if you came over and you noticed it, then whatever. But I don't really notice it looking too bad, overhang wise, and
I'd be too busy having fun
yeah,
running trains. I don't like even when like I go to the club. It's just like I'm not there to judge. I go to have fun. You know.
yeah.
So
I'll have to get,
I've got a
I'll
whole
get up
thing
there.
here that I'm ready to judge, and
Yeah. Now we're our own worst critics. Everybody says it.
it's true. It's
We
true.
judge our stuff so hard. I think we just want it to look. I want my stuff to look like a magazine, and it's hard to get to that point. I'm not a master modeler by any means.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah, you got to be happy with it though. At the end of the day, you got to be happy.
exactly.
That's the tough part. Because like you can put in hours and hours and hours and still not be happy, or you say, "Oh, you know what I should have done?
Yeah.
You know what I should have used? Next time I'll do it this way." It always happens.
Yeah. So when I tore this down and rebuilt, I'm like, okay, all these mistakes that I've learned on, trying to change everything I learned to not do again, and probably still made some of those same mistakes just because. Yeah, you get sometimes you just get lazy. You get into it and you're just like, oh, am I ever really gonna want to remove this section? I'll just build it in solid. you know,
Yeah. Okay.
hopefully I don't ever have to remove it, But like this is supposed to be a removable section right here,
Mhm.
but it's tall enough that it's not too bad of a duck under because it's 5 feet whatever tall. So it's not terrible. You have to duck, but it's not like you don't have to get on your hands and knees to get underneath it. Because I was going to make that a lift out. I mean, technically, I probably still could, but I didn't cut the fascia at the right spots to do that, and I'd have to cut the track and everything. And every time you cut the track, it's one more chance of a derailment. Removing
Well, then
stuff.
there's the things that you plan for, and I know like my yard on the last layout it wasn't so much a problem as like I planned it one way, and then I'm like, why did I do it that way? Where I can get more space if I do it stub end.
Mm-hmm.
So then I end up, after finishing it, I took off half of it and then I just extended it and turned it into a stub end instead. And I was
Yeah.
way happier with it. Sometimes there is a bit of a trial and error to it, or, you kind of, when you see it visually, like I'm a very visual person.
Mm-hmm.
So, you could tell me how to do something, but the only way I'm going to really understand it or do it the way I like is by doing it myself or by, physically trying different things. So
I agree. Same. I'm very visual like that too. So, all right. I promise I'm going this time.
yeah, we'll wrap things up here. I think we kept them
Thanks for
long
having
enough.
me.
But yeah, thank you very much for joining there,
Oh yeah,
Dave.
it's fun as usual, man. I'm glad I was able to pop on tonight.
For sure, and I'll be here next week, so you're definitely welcome to come back and chip away some more.
Yeah, that's good.
So we've got, I believe Mike is doing a live on Monday. It's our Canadian Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody and their families.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, guys.
And then Thursday, of course, we got Dave in the morning.
That's right.
With the morning brew.
That's right.
And then we've got M&M Rails at night on Thursday, doing Third Rail Thursday. And then we'll be back here next Saturday. Do you have anything else before we go?
I think on track Tuesday this week is the Flying Crow, Robert.
Robert the
Flying Crow. On,
I was going to say the Flying Crow. The Flying Crow.
Flying Crow, Robert.
Right
he's hosting this week. It's the third week, I think. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So he does the third week, and I do the fourth week. But it's Tuesday at 7. And who else? Thursdays have become busy. I do the morning show. Then you got Jim Tedesco at 6 for Short Line Thursday. And you guys come on at 8. Right? You guys are 8 o'clock, yeah?
Yep.
It ends up being a pretty good lineup for Thursday.
You should just start cable TV, you know, right? Train TV,
a
train
TV
channel.
guide. Train TV guide.
We could fill up 24 hours of just train stuff, whether it's reviews, get manufacturers involved or something.
And that's just our part of the community. There's so much of a broader community that does stuff, you know, and just
that's true.
It's crazy.
We could do like a whole European segment where it's just trains from across the world.
Anthony Dodge, I think, is over there in Germany right now.
Oh, there you go.
All those guys over in Germany.
You could be a correspondent in the field.
Yeah. So it's you got our Australian friends, Artie and them guys out there. And
that's true. No one would understand what he's saying, but the
international train community. Who would have thunk it years ago?
Well, all right, guys. Thank you so much. We got a train to catch, so we'll see you next week.
Okay. We'll see you guys.